And thank you so much for joining us here on the PowerCast. It is live and Tuesday night with a very special guest that many of you watching today know who he is, Mr. Greg Lederer. Thank you so much for being part of our show today.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. I got to view, I guess, a couple episodes of what you guys are doing here, so it's a great exposure for a lot of different people. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Want to make sure you all know about Eric Vasquez over here on your far right. And myself, we are with Team Powerhouse Global Banker. We are realtors, and we do a podcast with real estate and bringing local businesses and very special people on the show for you to get to know them, to know their stories and what's going on. A lot of great information here to learn today. Mr. Greg Lederer, a legend to many and all, especially in the Cheshire community, as to what he has been doing since he's been involved. I know that I moved into Cheshire in 2008. I'm not born and raised in Cheshire. Eric, what year did you move to Cheshire?
07.
Right?
I beat you.
You beat me.
I beat you into town.
And one thing you're going to know about Greg Lederer is if you live in Cheshire, you probably know who Greg Lederer is and what he means to be a part of the community in your family's lives and your kids' lives, and just an all-around amazing person. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
I appreciate it. I look forward to sharing my story and being able to share my plans for the future. So thank you very much.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So we have some questions that Eric and I have kind of prepared for you, and get the people to know more about your story and who you are, where you're from.
Start with the bio.
Yeah, let's start with the bio, exactly. So where are you born and raised?
I was born in Madison, Wisconsin.
Badgers.
My mom actually still works there, the University of Wisconsin.
What's your mom's name?
Susan.
Hello, Susan. Hopefully you're watching the show today. I'm not sure if she is. Does she know the show today?
She's probably busy.
She could.
She works at University of Wisconsin.
She'll get to watch the replay for sure.
Yeah,
for
she can definitely watch the replay, I'm sure. She's busy right now.
So born and raised in Madison, Wisconsin.
Born in Madison, Wisconsin, but moved out of there. I spent some time in California, but I was raised and went to middle school, high school, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Hershey, Pennsylvania. They got the old
Never
Hershey
been.
Kisses on streetlights.
Yeah, I've never been.
So you smell chocolate in the town.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool stuff. I was there once.
Could be worse.
When Danny was 10, we took a road trip with a minivan, and about 16 of us, actually the people I bought the house from in Cheshire, we got very friendly, and the whole family, we did a road trip to Hershey, Pennsylvania. And my buddy Brad Wiseman, who lives in Sinking Springs, I talk about Brad Wiseman all the time, another legendary realtor over there, great guy. All right, so where'd you go to college?
Well, went to Western Maryland College.
Okay.
It was, fall in 1999. But while I was there, they decided to change the name to what it is now. It's now McDaniel College.
McDaniel College.
So I was actually the first class.
And that's not in New Jersey, right?
No, it's in
Okay, so I was
Westminster,
wrong
Maryland.
with my
It's in
guess.
Westminster. It's in Westminster, Maryland. It's on the
Okay.
border right next to Gettysburg. So on the
Great.
Pennsylvania border there. But yeah, I was the first class to graduate with the name McDaniel. So
And what was your major in college?
I was actually I'm not sure what it is now, but at the time there they only had journalism as a minor. So I minored in journalism. I majored in political science.
Poli-sci.
But I did work on the school newspaper there while I was there. So they used to be called the Phoenix. I don't know. I think the name has since changed. I think it's now the McDaniel Free Press. Last time I looked. So.
Very cool stuff. You ever reach back out to them at all, or in communication with the school and the paper there?
A couple years ago, I reached out to one of my advisors there just to see how things were going there. So, but I mean, obviously I'm very busy. I wish I had a little more time to reach out a little bit more to my alma mater. I know, because usually they have the homecoming and everything like that, but it's always on a weekend, and it's like a 4-hour drive back to Maryland, so it's obviously not easy for me during the fall or something to get away during that time. So
To say you're a very busy guy would be an understatement to all. As you know, Greg Lederer, and if you haven't got to know him yet, if you're new to the Cheshire community, Greg Lederer is everything that Cheshire represents when it comes to being involved and caring about a town so much as he does, and what he gives back every day of his life.
And it's athletics.
The sports athletic program loves and appreciates you above and beyond, probably more than even, well, let's just keep it above and beyond, right? I mean, what you bring to every family who has an athlete, how your coverage is. I know I don't know how you cover all these sports. I mean, how many different sports are happening at one time, and you're just everywhere you need to be and know the information that's going on. The photos, I mean, the recently I just talked about the hockey game that just happened. You were video coverage there. The basketball game with the girls just happened, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is all in the same day or in the same time. I mean, like, it's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah. So at a girls' basketball game at Naugatuck, and I drove from that to the boys' basketball game, and I actually announced the boys' basketball game as well. And Cheshire won both games, both tight games. So they both came out. Cheshire boys beat Shelton.
But people don't realize that traveling involved in what you're doing. I mean, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. How did you get started in the sports in Cheshire?
So when I came back, my family lived in Hamden at the time when I was in college. So
Okay.
I would come back to Connecticut, every time on breaks. So I graduated from McDaniel in 2003. So I was just looking for work. I went to the Hamden Public Library. And I was just kind of looking through the papers there, and they had a little box there saying they were looking for a sports reporter in Cheshire, Cheshire Herald. So at that point, I went in there, did an interview there, and they ended up hiring me. They said the reason why they hired me was because the layout program they had there at the time was the same layout program that I worked on in college. So
Very
they thought there
nice.
was less of a transition there at the time for that. So,
Convenience and was meant to be. The path opened up. Boom.
yeah, taking,
You looked in the newspaper for a job.
no.
So when you started with the Cheshire sports realm there, was it back then what it is today? Or did you develop it into what it is now?
Well, it's at the time, when I went over there, I remember the first couple games I went to. A lot of people were excited that I was there. Because I guess a lot of people, in the past didn't have as much time to go to all these contests that I was
Right.
going to, and I enjoyed being there. I love sports, and really from the start, I really made a connection with the Cheshire community, and I was amazed, that how supportive they were of what I was doing, and I really enjoyed, what I was doing, and being a part of that. And to go off and on another thing, as well, one of the things that, because the Cheshire Herald is a weekly newspaper, versus a daily newspaper. So one of the things I saw, not exactly, when I went to Cheshire, but when I kind of went into other towns was, a lot of people hadn't heard of the Cheshire Herald, or they were surprised that a weekly newspaper would travel to different towns to cover. Because a lot of people's depiction, of weekly newspapers were, when you can just make a phone call on an event, why do you have to be at the event, necessarily? And, I thought that was probably the best thing for me because it gave me something to shoot for. And the goal for me then was I thought I was working hard, but I had to work twice as hard. I had to do everything I could because it wasn't about me. It was about, giving this exposure to these amazing athletes and coaches who work hard in Cheshire. And also for weekly newspapers to say, no matter how big of an organization you work at, doesn't mean how hard you work. And if I could just change one person's mind to say, okay, because even the people I work with at the weekly newspaper for years also worked just as hard, and they worked as hard as I did.
Right.
And they cared, and I wanted people to know that I cared as well. So.
I think your level of care is understated for what you do for the town of Cheshire. And what about your passion for sports? Where does that come from?
Well, ever since I was a kid, I've been interested, in sports and stuff like that. And then obviously when I got to college and stuff like that, it just going into sports writing, it allowed me to stay involved with the sport. It's something that, no matter how old you can get, you can still be around the games, you can still be around the athletes, and really enjoy telling their stories. So.
Did you play a sport yourself, or?
Yes, yes. I did. Well, I played a lot of, different sports on my own. But I played basketball. I ran track and cross country. I ran those at Hershey High School in Hershey, Pennsylvania as well. So.
I just want to make sure if anybody's out there that has any questions at all for our friend Greg over here, you want to say hello, please don't hesitate to announce yourselves. He's going to watch this show later on, of course, as well.
Is it easy to run with the smell of chocolate in the air? Or?
I don't think, from where we ran, because we actually ran at the cross country meets, the home meets were actually held at this huge park called Shank Park, which is actually close to where I lived at the time. It's this humongous park. And, there are a lot of different hills or something. It's a very hilly course. She actually ran in the hills all over the woods, and it it was quite an experience at a home meet.
I'd
so.
never make it to the finish line. Wherever Hershey Park is, or wherever they're making the chocolate is, hey, it curves. Nope, I'm going this way.
Well, Hershey Park definitely gets
Like
a
Gump,
lot of
like
people.
Forrest Gump did in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, where he just kept
There,
running.
so.
Yeah.
I'm definitely chocoholic, as you know,
Ugh.
and also.
I had a hot chocolate
I was
20
gonna-
minutes ago.
And I'm actually surprised you're not eating any chocolate right now on the show, because you're typically eating some kind of candy or chocolate.
Yeah.
You're a sweet tooth kind of guy. Just a little
I'm
bit.
at my holiday weight.
Yeah. Greg, do you have any memorable moments and stories from covering news in Cheshire?
Oh, well, obviously, I mean, I've covered so many amazing contests. Obviously, it's hard to pick just one or two, but I will say one of them, obviously, you know, Cheshire High School Girls Swim and Dive holds the national record for consecutive dual meet victories.
Wow.
Still hold it. The day when they broke, or I guess it was the night, they held a meet, obviously, at Cheshire Community Pool when they broke the national record. It was the biggest crowd I ever saw at that meet. And they defeated Brantford that night.
This is in the bubble?
Yes.
Where, okay.
Well, at the time, obviously, I think it may have been a bubble, but then it's now a permanent roof.
Right,
It's now
yeah.
closed now on the pool now at
I,
this
I
time.
still call it the
That-
bubble.
What year was that in? Would you say roughly? I'm putting you on the spot, I'm
I think
sorry.
it was 2007.
Okay.
I believe it was 2007.
That's when you came in.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Watch is a championship.
so. What's interesting, so when I was, because a couple times I've driven from here to see my family in Wisconsin, and the first time I did it, I stopped in Indiana for gas.
Wow.
And I stopped at Elkhart, Indiana, and I thought, where have I heard this name before? The town that Cheshire, that the girls broke the national record of was Elkhart Central. So
Oh,
that
wow.
was actually
Okay.
the town of where they held the
That's
Wow.
previous record of, so.
Very cool. You worked at the Cheshire Herald for 20 years. What did that experience mean to you?
It meant everything to me. I mean, I worked with so many supportive coworkers, both in the writing and advertising. John Rook stayed as my editor, I guess, from Cheshire Herald to when we moved on to the RG Media Group, which he was a great influence on me and on my writing over the years. But as well, along with that, I mean, obviously, most of my stuff is obviously in sports, and I worked countless athletes. I've worked with countless coaches, and it was an honor for me to tell their stories over that time. So.
I know the coaches love the interviews you do and the articles you write. You really bring them.
I'm sure the coach is probably easier to talk to after a win than it is a loss.
That's probably fairly
Okay.
reasonable.
I've seen the coaches not wanting to talk as much after a loss, but
Well, I learned necessarily, because at the time, with this, the Cheshire Herald was a weekly newspaper for print, right? Or I guess when I worked there. So I would know. I guess I didn't always have to talk to that coach immediately. I could maybe call him the next day in some
Okay.
cases because we didn't have to
When
do
there's
daily.
less fire in the room.
We didn't have to do like
Right.
It may not have been on layout deadline, I guess, at that point. So.
Greg Letter, legend in Cheshire, is sitting with us over here today. We're very thankful. Lots
it's a
of great
great segue
questions.
because he was talking about when I worked there.
Yes.
So that would segue into what you're doing now.
What I'm doing now?
Well, we could definitely get in it because honestly, I think everybody wants to know what's going on with you. You're now opening up a new era
Yeah.
in Greg Lederer in the future of Cheshire sports. And I think everybody here has probably got lots of questions out there. You may feel comfortable reaching out to us and kind of punching them in and letting us know what they are, but let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I mean, the last couple of years, obviously, I've thought about, down the road, what if I started my own, internet Cheshire sports company? So at this point, I've decided to go ahead and launch Cheshire Sports Media.
Cheshire Sports
Cheshire
Media.
Sports Media is what I plan to. That's my focus right now, and right now I'm planning to, I'm working towards starting it off end of January and start of February.
Wow, very exciting.
So I'll be focused on Cheshire sports, kind of transferring what I've done for 20 years to the digital website that I have planned. So
You're working on that feverishly. A lot of work to be done over there.
yeah, a lot of work. I will say, I've done content for a long time, but advertising is something that was kind of new to me. So I've been working very, very hard to kind of catch up with that. And I I like the stages I'm getting at, one step at a time, so.
To go and start a new business is not easy, but the love and support that you have from this community, and not just in this community as in Cheshire, but throughout the communities in sporting industry, because you know, when you cover Cheshire sports, you're also covering the other schools that are playing against them. And the way you cover the sports and the writing you have, and like Eric said before, there's wins and there's losses. The articles you write, the players involved, all these different facets over here, you really go above and beyond in your articles. How would you say you've grown as a writer?
Oh, well, I mean, I think one of the ways that, I think especially at games, you know, I think when I was starting out, we'll just saying, you know, Cheshire beats so-and-so and then just go into it. You know, what I found over the years, though, is, you know, you can describe, like, those last 5 minutes of the game. You know, in my
The
mind,
intimacy of
you
what just
know,
happened.
you know, in my mind, I want to, you know, for someone who's necessarily not at that game, I want to put them there. You know, I want to make them understand, you know, what was the key point of that game, you know, describe that. And then obviously go into what the game was.
So I
And
would
then-
imagine then that if it was a route, let's say, it's a lot tougher to write about, because there's really nothing compelling that you can write about in it, right?
Well, I found a lot of experience of ways of telling stories, you know, and obviously a part of that, I guess, you know, is to, you know, I can find things in different articles to talk about. One of the things I think I've found in features is, you know, what I really enjoyed really describing a person and describing what they're all about. I remember one of the first cards I got when I was in Cheshire was from at the time, I guess. She's married now, but Katie Lenz. I remember I wrote an article, I guess, about her playing volleyball at Trinity College, and I guess she sent me a card. I guess that she said, you know, I think she wrote, you know, this may sound corny, but you really described who I am, and that I really took pride in that because that was really my objective.
It's building those relationships in the business you're in. In any business in life, you have to be passionate to be the best at what you do. You have got to care. Your level of care for each individual you're writing about is very intimate and personal, because you get to know that athlete. You get to know more about them, maybe their families, you know, how they got to this point and the effect that they've made in that game, in that play, in that situation. And you're describing it to the people, they're reading about it, and now with your new website, will have even more depth of your website as to what they're going to be able to read and possibly visually see.
Yeah.
So you'll have maybe some interviews or some visual content?
Yeah, one of the things that I guess, you know, obviously I've worked with photos over the years, but one of the things I'm excited about doing, I've been obviously taking more videos for a couple of years, and I'm excited now about including that on my website and really being able to really give that side, I guess, of interviews as well as live action into my stories, so.
You know, speaking of website, I've got to mention everybody here who's watching, and we have many people watch on a regular basis, not just from Connecticut, but all over the country and all over the world. If you're watching our podcast, you can watch this every week. It's going to be on YouTube, Team Powerhouse Real Estate, Facebook, you have David Lamell page and Team Powerhouse page, Instagram, Team Powerhouse Real Estate. You're on Rumble, you're on Spotify.
We got TikTok.
We got TikTok going live over here with over 20,000 people watching. You have Spotify on the road. You've got Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. So we are here for you, excited to be a part of your lives every week. Eric and I sitting here with beautiful people, amazing people such as yourself, and it's just amazing to have you in this room today and for everybody to get to hear your story.
So going back to the print media, I had a question about whether or not when you were writing, had any of your stories been picked up by a bigger outlet?
You know, when the Cheshire Herald got purchased by the RJ Media Group, with you know, the Record Journal was actually able to use more of my stories. Now it's actually able to gain more of a following with that. But I've obviously written stories on people who've had an impact on the international stage. So even more on the national stage, some on the international stage.
Right.
So even though those articles may not have been picked up by a different publication, they've been seen by people in some cases all over
Yeah,
the world.
you mentioned, I think New Haven Register's probably done a couple of your articles in theirs,
Um,
or maybe on their website.
I don't think any articles have been picked up by them.
Okay.
I think it's Record Journal.
Okay.
Mostly did.
I mean, Record Journal, I'm sorry.
Other than the
Gotcha.
Cheshire Herald, yeah.
Right.
I got a couple more questions for you here. What made you want to pursue this new venture?
Oh, you know,
It's the time.
You know,
Everything's internet
yeah,
now.
yeah.
It's true. Social media is
yeah.
playing a big role. Web
Yeah.
presence.
You know, obviously, I think that I'm interested, I guess, in starting my own schedule. And another piece of this, I don't know if my family is watching. I'm sure they'll be watching later.
I hope the Leonard family is watching this because you guys, by the way, inspired this man right here to do what he's doing today. Is that fair and reasonable?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of their support, means the world to me. But I will say, I've been doing this for 20 years, and my family, a lot of my family lives out in Wisconsin.
Any questions?
So I haven't been able, obviously, to make it out there to see them as much. And, being able to set my own vacation, stuff like that, I enjoy in the future, being able to be able to spend a little more time with my family that I haven't been able to do in the past
Yeah.
because of the schedule I've had in the past. So.
For sure. Will the website, will it be travel also, or is it mainly just high school, stuff like that?
Well, I guess, we're going to be having, obviously, a lot of my focus, obviously, has been on the Cheshire High School sports,
Right.
but I'm also going to have, going to do some Cheshire Academy stuff, some community sports, different stuff
Okay.
in the community, as well as college stuff and grad stuff as well. Maybe look at some other people from Cheshire who've done other things beyond college in the Cheshire community and beyond.
Cool.
What has the support of the Cheshire community meant in starting this new business?
Oh, well, I mean, they meant everything. I will say that, even when I was with the Cheshire for as long as I was, I couldn't have done everything I've done without people supporting, reading the articles, being able, feeling comfortable to bring me their stories, allowing me to tell their stories. And I can't say enough about the support I've received with this new venture. So
Facebook has been blowing up. Everybody's supporting Greg Lederer. Everybody's upset very
Well,
much
be
about
specific in the Cheshire Forum.
Cheshire Forum, Cheshire Unplugged. Everywhere you read about Greg Lederer, they're upset about what happened or what they thought or they didn't know how important this was for you to start this new adventure. And for them to be behind you, supporting you, is massive. You've got 20,000 people literally talking about you in Cheshire, about what Greg Lederer is going to do, what his next moves are, and where can they find your information and what's happening. And obviously his website, do we have the website name yet or not yet?
no, I'm still in the process. Actually,
Under construction.
yeah.
construction.
One of the things, I guess, I'm not sure. I guess we'll be talking about it later, but I'm in the process right now of looking through some templates. Going to be going through that this week. So
Should have them back when it's ready to launch.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, we're going to have Greg Lederer on a few times this year, at least to begin with, kind of schedule what's going on with you, what's new and upcoming. This way the people can watch and listen and learn and be more excited and pumped up. Because while they're following your page, let me just jump on to Greg. Let me just tell you how I got to meet Greg Lederer myself. So I moved into Cheshire in 2008, and I'll never forget my birthday, June 30th, for all of you who don't know that, because I love my birthday.
Wait,
I-
what'd you say?
June. Eric knows my birthday, but hold on. I move into Cheshire, and
I do now.
I get on my page of Facebook, and I'm opening
Don't
up,
laugh.
and I see a happy birthday from Greg. In all these beautiful photos, a compilation of my family or different events that happened in my life, wishing me happy birthday. I had never met Greg before, and I was blown away by this, by a man who I did not only not know, but took the time to make my birthday that special to me. And in my family, we celebrate birthdays for one whole week. Everybody gets a week for their birthday, because what's one day?
Yeah.
One day just goes by too quickly. But what you did for me, and what you do for everybody in Cheshire, and if you're out there and you're watching this show, you know what Greg does on your birthday, and you look forward to it. You look forward to seeing that happy birthday from Greg, and it's just a great, great feeling to just be a part of everybody's life every day of the year. And there's a lot of birthdays that happen every day.
Yeah, I think my birthday list is like 24 pages long. It's organized by day. So
Greg,
it's
what
staying
is your
on the whole
birthday? I
thing.
have it on my phone, but what's your birthday?
It is May 6th.
May 6th. Let's just write that down.
I've actually worked on my birthday multiple times. In fact, a couple times the teams have actually had a cake for me or something on my birthday.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Just missed Star Wars Day, huh?
Right.
May the 4th?
May the
May the
4th.
4th
right.
be with you.
Yeah.
All right, so more questions for you, Greg, and I know Eric has a bunch of it there as well. What kind of content do you plan to work in and what is your timetable for putting out your media website? And we kind of briefed on that a little bit.
Yeah. So obviously the focus right now is sports for me. That's what I've worked in for a long time. But I also want to, over the course of the year, to be moving over. I want to make it available for people to send in. Obviously, submit different things from around town, like tag sales and
Very exciting.
and different things like
So
different
David
events.
Dave
Fall,
loves tag sales.
fall festival,
You know
fall
what?
festivals and stuff like that.
I
So
used to like tag sales when I was allowed to buy things at tag sales. And then I'll never forget one year I went to a tag sale, I picked up a couple things. You're driving around, you're putzing around, you got nothing to do, you kind of pop in, oh, that's pretty cool. And I'd bring it home, my wife goes, what is that? And I would literally get yelled at because I would bring in, she would call it like other people's crap. She would say to me, why are you bringing this and that? And I'm like, one year I picked up this football thing. It was like
You know Val's probably watching, right?
she's most of the time right, to be fair. But I'll say it was this football thing. It was like a thing where you throw the football and it catches in the net. I thought it was the coolest thing for Dana to kind of play. And she was so upset. But I said, we were going to play with it. We're going to use it. And that was one of the cool things I picked up. Then I'd pick up some art pieces that I thought were really cool. But tag selling. So lots of things happening in Cheshire, different kind of events.
yeah,
Great place to be able to check everything out.
yep,
So
yeah.
you're having like an events calendar, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's one of the things I think I definitely want to do from the start. Obviously, I know that, I'm going to be busy, obviously, during the high school sports season. One thing I look forward to, I guess,
But that's practically year-round, though, isn't it?
well,
100%.
well, during the
Fall sports, winter sports.
spring,
Spring
summer
sports,
too.
summer.
Schedule doesn't have as many games for me,
Right.
so I'm looking forward to that time as well, because that's the time I think I'll have a little more time to add some other stuff, look at some other stuff I want to build it up a little bit more.
Right.
Some of the stuff I
All the
wanna look at, some
festivals
stuff.
happening all summer long, etc.
Yeah, so-
Are you looking to bring on writers to your team, your company?
Right now I'm building this up. I'm focused, just on me building this up right now. But one thing I think, as I get more comfortable, more in the swing of things per se.
Yes.
I know that in the past, the Cheshire Herald has allowed people to job shadow and stuff like that. Some people have approached us about that, and
Right.
so I would be open when I become more comfortable and when get more
When you're kind of
more
piece of the
down.
puzzle kind of put together.
Yeah,
Yes.
more down the road of allowing.
I mean, it's also gonna make your life easier.
Yeah,
Because
well,
there's
that's
less
true.
travel and
Less
if
travel
you've got,
as well,
if you've
yeah.
got competing schedules between
Yeah.
two games, you're like, I can't be at both places at
Yeah.
one time.
Oh, I managed that over the years. I
Maybe,
found ways. but
maybe
it's
some
not-
writers from the high school, Cheshire High School paper, or
Yeah.
Cheshire Academy, or somebody that
No.
might want to be involved and kind of learn from you.
Or a realtor doesn't really know anything about sports that can really write it for you. And then you can fix it later on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, yeah. So I know how important it is, in trying to get into journalism, obviously, of getting running experience. So I would be interested down the road of allowing someone to work with me and get
You
that
can
experience.
mentor it.
as well.
Because,
Yeah,
I've noticed the guys that really don't know about sports, they usually end up being Giants fans, so. Just a cursory thing I picked up on over the
It
years.
happens accidentally, you kind of trip and fall and become a Giant fan. It happens. It feels like that today more than anything else. A lot
Yeah.
of falling down. How important is to adapt in telling stories?
It's obviously I think I've seen over the course of 20 years. Obviously it's changed the way people get their news. So it's obviously very important of being able to, and a lot of people say, well, a lot of people think, well, the print's being phased out. I still know people who love the print, and it's still important for them to still be open to people who want to get it that way. Some people want to get it over the internet, and some people.
Well, I can
on
tell
phone
you,
and
you've got
like
stuff
that,
on my fridge right now.
So, oh, do I?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Some of your articles have been cut out of the newspaper and it's
Awesome.
been up on my fridge right now.
I appreciate
Yeah.
we appreciate it.
What I'm going to say, though, above and beyond, and including all your articles, it's easy to read. Like when you write in a way that it's exciting, and it's easy to read for the individual to read. Because people who are reading your articles are all different age levels. You have young people reading, and you have adults reading, and you have grandparents reading these articles about their families and their kids.
Yeah.
And your writing style is very special to the people out there who are reading those articles. And now it's going to be all on your social media website.
Yes.
Which again, people can later on also print things out
Yeah,
and
it's still
add
print
it
out.
out.
Yeah,
That.
that's something, yeah.
Let's see. You're going to be inducted into the Cheshire Hall of Fame in April.
And Cheshire High School Hall of Fame, yes.
Cheshire High School Hall of
Yes.
Fame. What does that honor mean to you? That's just so you know, it's a select few people in the last how many years to be inducted in the Cheshire High School Hall of Fame. That's pretty amazing stuff.
Well, neither one of us are in the Cheshire.
No,
Cheshire
no,
High School.
maybe the blotter, but not.
I didn't make the blotter.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know how many countless times over the years, you know, I've walked, you know, down the hallway towards the athletic office. You know, I pass on, when you pass down the hall, I guess, you know, you see the plaques on the wall of the high school of the people who have received this honor. And I have thought over the years, what would it be like to have my face up there? So when I got the news in the spring of last year, I was very honored to be receiving the Founders Award. And I'm also honored to be inducted with a lot of amazing, I know some of the people who are going to be inducted with me in the same class. And some of them are very, very accomplished. And obviously all of them are very accomplished and very deserving of the honor as well.
I'm sure many of the players and coaches will definitely be a part of a special day, and being there cheering you on in that exciting day that you deserve to have. It's pretty special stuff. And for a town like Cheshire, which is a pretty intimate town, to make that kind of statement about you, that means a lot.
Yeah, I'm very honored that they thought of me for that honor, and I don't take it lightly, and I still look forward to continuing to stay in touch with a lot of the people who I cover and who I work with. So,
What do you have? I'm sorry. Do you have advice for people looking to get into journalism?
yeah, you know, one of the most important thing, not just in journalism, I think, but I think in any kind of life, I think, is, you know, trying to get experience, you know, trying to make yourself more attractive to employers. So in the case of writers, you know, you can apply for a newspaper, a blog. I think the most important thing, I think, is just getting writing experience. You know, just because I think in my case, I can definitely say this, with repetition, you get better. I'm a much better writer today than I was when I started. So
It's the passion behind the pen that gets your skill level even more in depth, because you can visualize the people you're writing about, the experiences they went through, and then let people read it as if they were there.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it.
This is sports journalism.
Yes.
And you can't fake it. You can't fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
That's right.
You either know it or you don't know it.
Yeah.
And it's going to show.
Yeah.
It's going to show up in the writing.
Yeah.
Especially because you cover so much in all these sports, like you just said. He's there. He's at at all the events that are happening. He's seen with his own eyes. So when he's writing about these articles and these players and these coaches, he's felt.
Yeah, but he's also picking up the mood of the crowd and
Yes.
and you know, the heaviness or the happiness or whatever, you know, he's translating that into the articles.
100%.
Yeah.
Amazing. What is the business model you want for your new generation? And will you have visual content already?
Yeah.
So what is the business model you want for your next
Dave's not
direction?
great
new
at
direction?
notes.
I'm sorry, I wrote my notes and I'm gonna read it, sorry. So what is the business model you want for your new direction?
Well, you know, it's, like I said before, you know, I'm looking forward to really transferring over, I think, what I've done, you know, for the last 20 years and being in that. You know, I've worked in Cheshire. I work with so many amazing people in Cheshire, and I think I've heard from so many people over the years and still today, you know, how they love, you know, just the Cheshire focus, and they love hearing about their town. They love hearing about what people have accomplished and about people are working at and how hard they're working at that. So I really look forward of just, you know, just talking about how special the Cheshire community is, as well as the people who were in Cheshire. They may have left there, but, you know, a lot of people want to know what they've been up to. So I look forward to telling those stories.
But you're going to have
as well.
full editorial charge
Yeah.
of everything. So, you know, that's going to be a new venture for you. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, having control over every aspect of it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can write an article as long as you want or as short as you want,
Yeah.
you know?
I've written some long articles over the years,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'll say that, you know, sometimes it takes longer to write those features and stuff like that, but there's some of the things I'm most proud of.
Mhm.
So
Greg Letter, everybody, a legend in the sports media, a guy who's very passionate, a guy who loves the people, and is excited about a new adventure that he's going to be going into, and I know you guys are too. Greg, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. You are amazing. You did an amazing job over here today. Again, if anybody has any questions of Greg, throw them into the comment section. He'll be looking at them later on, answering questions. In addition to that, The next part of our show, Greg, is we give a tumbler out to a lucky winner. We have a wheel that if anybody wants to be involved in winning a tumbler, it's very simple. You let us know you want to be on the wheel. We put your name on there, and then we spin that wheel and see who gets to win. So, Thane, if you don't mind, spin that wheel, my friend, and let us know who the next winner is.
Haven't heard that wheel in a while. I may have been absent for a
Sounds
few.
like the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Spin the wheel.
What is it?
Iravello.
Iravello?
Isn't that the airline you fly down to Florida?
Aravello?
I-R-O-Vello. V-E-L-L.
Well, you just won a tumbler. Please reach out to us. Make sure we have your contact information so we can get you a beautiful tumbler. Greg, cheers to you, my friend. We appreciate you being a part of this amazing day and amazing show. We're very
Cheers.
excited for your future.
Salute.
And let's have an amazing new 2024 with Greg Letter and his new website. Make sure to get a hold of him and be a part of his future.
This is water.
Yeah. Yeah. We will see you guys all next week with another great show and a lot of great content. Thank you so much.